requirement for Libra-owned companies is only for official Libra-owned companies. Theoretically, you can create a company as a DAO in Libra-owned, and that doesn't have any requirements regarding residency. So if you wanna do this anonymously, you will not be able to for example, engage in future bank accounts or stuff like that. But if you are just a purely crypto DAO, you can do that on the Libra-owned blockchain and the Libra-owned ecosystem even without a residency.
Yeah, and the form itself, like I've registered a sole proprietorship in Canada before. I've formed a corporation in Canada. There are tools to make that stuff easier and do it online, but it's still an incredibly manual process, and you literally get your incorporation documents in the mail, in the physical mail, a few weeks later. So, in comparison to that, the thing that took me the longest personally was working on the charter, just to make sure I had everything set up properly. That the fact that who's going to own the tokens, behind the company and stuff like that. All in all, it took me about an hour, I think. Which, again, in the grand scheme of things, or compared to a lot of other jurisdictions, it's pretty fast. And and we do have some example charters for you, some templates that'll get you started. You can literally copy and paste those, make the changes you need, which will probably take you 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah, those default pre-made charters, you just need to sign them. You don't need to write them yourself. Like we have 3 default types of companies, and they basically act as terms and conditions. You can just sign them with one click, and it defines how your company is operated. Of course, the more complex your company is, the more complex the process is. So, for example, if your company wants to do business internationally, it is a bit more involved process to ensure international compliance. But if you're just like a pure crypto company, then it's just a few clicks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, we're not trying to hide anything. We're just making sure like all the information gets out there, and ultimately it's a pretty simple process. And if you've registered a company in any country that's existed for more than 200 years, it's almost certainly a much easier and faster process and less expensive. You don't have to pay $600 application fees or anything like that. I registered my company for free, and I imagine Alex did as well.
Yeah, exactly. It was totally free, and now I hope I will pay some taxes when it start earning.
Voluntary taxes.
I mean, you gotta get your merits up,
Exactly.
Alex.
Yes, 100% voluntary.
Right, earn those merits. But I can certainly agree. I think the whole process of being e-resident or applying to be e-resident and even applying for a company, I think for those who are in the U.S., you'll sort of sympathize with me, but getting your driver's license and getting something as simple as that takes much longer than even applying for e-residency and a company within Liberland. So for anyone who is crypto native, I think it's really important to not only do your research on Liberland and the ethos of what they're trying to build here, but I think more importantly, being a part of this movement, investing in the ecosystem, becoming an e-resident, applying to become a citizen within Liberland, right, and donating and being a part of this, I think is, we're still in the very early stages of this, so I think it's really important for everyone to at least have some interest, be curious on what they're building, because it's something really special, right? So the last question I have,
if I can expand a little bit, there is something exciting happening here. So we're actually moving forward the next stage of the companies, which would include fully enforceable hybrid contracts. So there are parts of the contracts that are smart contracts that are running on the blockchain, and there are parts that are basically human readable and that are enforced in courts in case of disputes. So like courts as oracles. So this system is close to completion, and this actually allows a lot of things to become possible. We just last week got approached by one company, two of them, two of the people from that company are already Liberlanders. They build solar power plants in whole of Europe. I think cumulatively they have almost a gigawatt of capacity spread out over all of their projects. And what they are starting to do right now is they want to tokenize the new solar power plants that they are building, so that, for example, the idea that they have, if you want to invest in power generation, you don't really have a way to do it. You can buy stocks in some existing company, but you cannot actually directly invest. So what they're doing is allowing everybody to crowdfund power plant. So, for example, you can buy